Welcome back, everybody. I know it's been a while, but I've been streaming, and that's what brought this to my attention. Someone asked, what are the minimum specs that I would recommend for streaming VR? You're going to be surprised with the results, so stay to the end. Okay, let's just lay down the groundwork on what we're working with here and what our expectations are. First of all, we're only using virtual desktop with a Quest 2, MetaQuest, whatever you want to call it. With that being said, we have a X370 motherboard with a processor that's a 1600X and DDR4 16 gigs RAM. Only thing that's really going to change in the setup is the graphics card and some of the minor settings within virtual desktop. Everything else pretty much is default settings in virtual desktop. You may have to tweak it a little bit to get where I got to, but everything's always a little bit different. Now, let's just jump into the medium settings first, and that's going to be with this card right here. This card is the MSI 2070 Super. This thing performed off the bat rather poorly. I was a little disappointed. I did tweak a few different things, and after doing that and then setting the FPS to 72 and 80, both of them worked really well playing the game. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Now, with the video card setting, I used the recommended. The recommended worked very, very well with this card. Now, that's all with playing. Now, if you want to record a stream or just record, the settings definitely are going to be a lot tighter. And when I say that, I'm talking about your FPS settings. You bring it down to 72, oh, you're going to be able to do it all day long. Now, just remember, I am just talking about in Half-Life Alyx. I did not test any other game except for Metro Awakening. Metro Awakening came up, but I do not recommend trying to stream Metro Awakening. In the first place, it's just poorly optimized, and the studio says they can't do anything about it. It's just Unreal Engine 5. Yeah, I'm a little on the edge about that one, but you know, hey, whatever. Especially after over the last year, it's gotten much better. Now, with that being said, you can stream, you can record, but don't expect high FPS. 72 minimum if you're going to stream and record. Playing, you can do it with 80. Let's move on to the next one, and that is the high end. Now remember, we're talking about old machines and what high end now compared to what I'm going to say right now, which is 3 generations old, if not one or two older. That's the 6900 XT. 6900 XT definitely was playable. Tweaks in virtual desktop. 80, you can run everything on 80, no problem, except if you go to record or stream. Record, you should be able to get away with it. Streaming, if you use overlays, you're gonna have to bring it down to 72. Now, with the 2070, I had no luck with overlays. So just be aware of that. Like I said just a little bit ago, it all depends on how much you want to tweak this thing out. So that is going to be on you for that. Like I was saying, the 6900 XT, it's for the high end of the low peripherals that we have here. That's doing pretty well. I mean, it ran very nicely once I figured out the how much FPS for the situation I was doing. Now, let's get into the surprise here. You may see it up here already. You may be identifying it already. Yes, it is the 5080. Okay, the RX 5080. This is my original 2016 setup for streaming VR and just flat screen games. I've loved this machine. This machine has treated me pretty well. Some of you may identify this as Asus because of the logo right there, if you can see it there. And I'm not going to go into that. You can watch my Asus video about this motherboard. Actually, no, it was a more recent motherboard. I'm sorry. Now, the surprise of this was, actually, it was playable. I could not believe the actual performance that I got out of the 580. Virtual desktop, put it at 60. Didn't really expect any more, not to mention those that know virtual desktop, that's your lowest setting, right? So I was like, all right, here we go. The video card setup, now this one, actually, this is where the surprise came in. I first put it on potato, because it has 480 for a potato in virtual desktops. Actually, I believe it's 580. And I was like, oh crap, we're gonna see how this works out. Well, I actually found out that if you bump it up the next, which is low, it actually works out a little bit better. And it makes it very playable, but here's the caveat. In the headset, it's gonna be green. Okay. On this one, I got that far, and I'm like, oh, come on, we can make it better. And I went off course a little bit of what this video was, basic setup, blah, blah, blah. And I just dove into it a little bit. Could not get that graininess to go away. So, I don't know. You might be able to. It was playable, but I wouldn't do it for long. Would you be able to stream with it? Probably. It would look better on the stream than it was gonna in your headset. I'll tell you that right now. Like I said before, the streaming part of stuff mostly relies on the motherboard, CPU, and RAM, and there's plenty of that. So, in conclusion, all three graphics cards work. The 580, the 2070 Super, and the 6900X. The 2070 and the 6900, no surprise. 580 though, it surprised me. And I was very, very grateful for that experience. It was actually a breath of fresh air. Now here's the next caveat, and I'm going to leave you with this. Steam frame. Steam frame with the Proton and all the other optimization voodoo they have going on with the upscaling and all this other stuff. You should be able to play on your computer and stream with a 580, no problem. That is the beauty of Valve's Steam frame. With that being said, we will see. That is what I'm hoping. That opens the door for so many people for a very good experience. Unlike having to work with virtual desktop. Don't get me wrong, I love virtual desktop. Sexy Tech, she uses virtual desktop with that 6900 and the 5800X processor, and it works beautifully for her. But if you only have to spend between $600 and $700, if that's what it's going to be, hopefully, please Valve, hopefully, that will be awesome. So I'm going to leave you with that. I'm going to do another video, hopefully sometime in January, about the Steam Frame and why I am going to get it when it comes out. So if you have any comments about a desktop that you're using to play, maybe stream or record VR with virtual desktop, I'd be very interested in the specs and your virtual desktop setup. Just general. Doesn't have to be anything fancy, extravagant. I'd just like to know what you're able to get to work in the minimum spec area. So, thank you for coming on by. Please hit that like. Please hit the subscribe. And this is Chris saying out.